happens when massive talent collides with even bigger egos? The Smashing Pumpkins story isn't just about multi-platinum albums and genre-defining music. It's about a band that imploded at the height of their success, with drug overdoses, fired drummers, and a frontman who alienated nearly everyone in his path. But that's only the beginning. Welcome to the roller coaster ride that is the Smashing Pumpkins, arguably one of the most important alternative rock bands of the 90s, and definitely one of the most drama-filled. While their musical legacy is undeniable, the behind-the-scenes chaos often threatened to overshadow their artistic achievements. From humble beginnings in Chicago to selling over 30 million albums worldwide, the Pumpkins' journey has been anything but smooth. Infighting, substance abuse, tragic deaths, and the notorious ego of frontman Billy Corgan have created a storyline that rivals any rock soap opera. So buckle up as we peel back the layers of one of alternative rock's most fascinating and troubled bands. The Smashing Pumpkins story begins in 1988 in Chicago, when guitarist James Iha met a record store clerk named Billy Corgan. Despite their contrasting personalities, Iha was quiet and reserved while Corgan was intense and opinionated. They bonded over their shared love of alternative music. Soon after, they recruited bassist Darcy Retzky, reportedly after Corgan spotted her arguing with a bouncer outside a club. The lineup was completed with the addition of drummer Jimmy Chamberlin, a jazz-trained musician who brought a unique flair to the band's sound. But even in these early days, the seeds of future conflict were being planted. Corgan, who had endured a difficult childhood with an abusive stepmother, and a father who was frequently absent due to his career as a musician, brought his emotional baggage and control issues into the band dynamic.
Yeah, I want to write a song about my terribly twisted childhood, or, like, I think people think I think like that.
He was determined to achieve greatness at any cost. After releasing their debut album Gish in 1991, which gained traction in the alternative scene, the Pumpkins exploded into the mainstream with 1993's Siamese Dream. But the recording of this breakthrough album revealed the first major cracks in the band's foundation. In what would become a pattern, Corgan took complete control, reportedly re-recording Iha and Retzky's parts himself because he felt they weren't good enough. Producer Butch Vig later confirmed that Corgan played nearly all the guitar and bass parts on the album. This perfectionism delivered incredible music, but devastated band morale.
I would like more of my songs to be in, but at the same time, there's a certain sort of way that the band...
As if that wasn't enough drama, during the recording sessions, Corgan was battling severe depression and self-unaliving thoughts.
I cut myself, I stayed up all night, I did things with sleep deprivation.
Retzky was dealing with a painful breakup, and Chamberlin had developed a serious heroin addiction. The pressure was so intense that Corgan reportedly threatened to commit self-unaliving if the album wasn't successfully completed. The Pumpkins reached their commercial peak with 1995's ambitious double album, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, which debuted at #1 and eventually sold over 10 million copies. But as their success grew, so did the tensions within the band.
People generally think that he does it all, but the three other personalities in the band definitely shaped the music for the better or for the worse.
Corgan's dictatorial approach to leadership alienated his bandmates. In interviews, he often minimized their contributions, fueling resentment. The rock press began noticing the visible animosity between band members during interviews, with Retzky and Iha often appearing disinterested or hostile, while Corgan dominated the conversation. Then came the first major public scandal. During the Melancholy tour in 1996, touring keyboardist Jonathan Melvoin and drummer Jimmy Chamberlin overdosed on heroin in a New York hotel room. Melvin died while Chamberlin survived. The incident shocked fans and forced the band to make a difficult decision. Chamberlin was promptly fired.
We still wanted to continue on with the tour no matter what anybody thought, whether Jimmy was in the band or not in the band.
In a press statement, the remaining band members expressed their devastation, but emphasized that they had tried numerous times to help Chamberlin with his addiction issues.
Being made to believe that we were being told the truth at every step of the way, which we later found out wasn't true at all.
The band continued the tour with a replacement drummer, but something fundamental had changed.
It puts you in a mindset that's very dangerous and very self-destructive.
The band's next album, Adore, saw them pivot to a darker, more electronic-influenced sound. The album was a critical success, but a commercial disappointment compared to their previous work. Behind the scenes, relationships continued to deteriorate. By 1999, Retzky had enough. After years of feeling underappreciated and clashing with Corgan, she quit the band. The official statement cited differences in the musical approach.
She saw music as more of a lifestyle thing, like I play when I want to play, I'll show up when I have to.
As the reason. But insiders reported that Retzky simply couldn't tolerate Corgan's controlling behavior any longer. In later interviews, she revealed that she felt her creative input had been consistently ignored. In one particularly telling incident, Retzky recalled being in the studio when Corgan turned to a sound engineer and said, "Turn off her bass," before recording the parts himself. "I don't know why he couldn't just tell me what he wanted," she later lamented in an interview. Chamberlain was eventually brought back into the fold, but the damage was done. After releasing Machina, The Machines of God in 2000, Iha also departed, and the original Smashing Pumpkins officially disbanded. Following the breakup, Corgan didn't exactly maintain a low profile. He formed the short-lived band Zwan and released a solo album before eventually reviving the Smashing Pumpkins name in 2007, but with an entirely new lineup apart from himself. During this period, Corgan became known for his provocative statements and bizarre behavior. He appeared on Alex Jones's InfoWars program, dabbled in professional wrestling promotion, and frequently stirred controversy with his outspoken political views.
A Klan member is spitting in some person of color's face. Don't you think that guy thought he was right too?
And conspiracy theories. In one memorable incident in 2016, he was photographed at Disneyland, looking absolutely miserable on the Thunder Mountain Railroad ride. The image went viral, becoming a meme that seemed to perfectly capture Corgan's perpetually dissatisfied persona. His personal relationships also made headlines. Corgan dated celebrities, including Courtney Love and Jessica Simpson, with the former relationship particularly contentious.
But I still was dating and sleeping with Billy Corgan, but he kind of lost me at this moment. This is the moment he specifically lost me.
Love and Corgan engaged in a very public feud, with Love claiming Corgan refused to allow her to use songs they had collaborated on, while Corgan accused Love of exploitation. When Corgan announced a Smashing Pumpkins reunion in 2018, fans were initially excited, until they realized that original bassist Darcy Retzky was not included. What followed was a messy public exchange that played out largely through social media and press statements.
There was a back channel communication through an intermediator. Can I still come back? And that just shows you the level of craziness.
Retzky released text messages allegedly from Corgan, claiming he had initially invited her to participate, but later rescinded the offer, telling her that the other band members didn't want her involved. Corgan countered by stating that Retzky had repeatedly turned down opportunities to reunite with the band.
It was no. Then the threats started. Then the mendacity started.
In an explosive interview, Retzky called Corgan manipulative and claimed he had been diagnosed with a personality disorder. He's not psychotic, but he has done some psychotic things, she stated. The feud got so ugly that the official Smashing Pumpkins website published a statement claiming they had reached out to Retzky multiple times, but that she had always deferred. Meanwhile, former guitarist James Iha remained largely quiet about the conflict, having built a successful career as a producer and composer for film and television. He eventually rejoined the band alongside Chamberlain for the Shiny and Oh So Bright tour, marking the first time they had played together since 2000. Like many bands, the Pumpkins have also faced their share of financial controversies. In 2008, Corgan sued Virgin Records for using the band's name and music in promotional deals for Pepsi and Amazon without his permission, claiming it damaged the band's credibility with fans. More recently, it was revealed that Corgan had engaged in legal battles over royalties and ownership rights to the band's catalog. Despite the band's massive success, money issues continued to create friction between former members, with Retzky claiming she had been unfairly compensated compared to Corgan. As the mastermind behind the Pumpkins, Corgan has maintained the most visible profile, With an estimated net worth of $60 million, he continues to lead the band while pursuing various side projects. In 2017, he purchased the National Wrestling Alliance and serves as its president. Personally, Corgan has found some stability, marrying fashion designer Chloe Mendel in 2022. They have 3 children together and live in Highland Park, Illinois, where Corgan also owns a tea shop called Madame Zuzu's. The Pumpkins released their latest album, Adam, a rock opera in 3 acts, in 2023, and Corgan continues to tour with the band. With a net worth of approximately $20 million, Iha has maintained a successful career outside the Pumpkins. He was a member of A Perfect Circle, has released solo material, and has worked as a producer for numerous bands. He has composed music for television shows and films, and owns a recording studio in Manhattan. After years away from the Pumpkins, Iha rejoined the band in 2018 and continues to tour and record with them, seemingly having made peace with Corgan. After leaving the music industry, Retzky largely disappeared from public view. She moved to a horse farm in Michigan and has mostly avoided the spotlight. In 2011, she made headlines for a DUI arrest, and in recent years has only emerged to comment on band reunion rumors. With an estimated net worth of $8 million, Retzky has expressed no interest in returning to music and remains estranged from her former bandmates, particularly Corgan. After overcoming his addiction issues, Chamberlain has had the most consistent relationship with the band, rejoining multiple times over the years. Beyond the Pumpkins, he has pursued various business ventures, becoming CEO of a digital consulting firm and investing in several technology companies. With a net worth of approximately $15 million, Chamberlain continues to play with the current incarnation of the Smashing Pumpkins while maintaining his business interests. Despite all the drama, or perhaps because of it, the Smashing Pumpkins continue to maintain a dedicated fan base. Their 2018 reunion tour was largely successful, and they were inducted into the Guitar Center Rock Walk in 2008, though they have notably not yet been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, despite being eligible since 2016. In 2020, Corgan revealed that he had reconnected with Retzky after many years of estrangement, suggesting that perhaps time does heal some wounds. However, a full reunion of the original lineup still seems unlikely given the complicated history. As the band approaches its 4th decade of existence in various forms, their legacy as musical innovators remains secure. The Smashing Pumpkins helped define the sound of 90s alternative rock while creating a body of work that continues to influence new generations of musicians. But the band's story also serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of ego, addiction, and unresolved conflict. Behind the multi-platinum albums and sold-out arenas lies a human story of creativity and self-destruction, of brilliant music born from dysfunctional relationships. For fans, the music remains the ultimate legacy. But for those fascinated by the darker side of rock stardom, the Smashing Pumpkins saga provides an endlessly compelling narrative of what happens when extraordinary talent collides with equally extraordinary personal demons. Today, as Corgan continues to carry the Smashing Pumpkins name forward with Iha and Chamberlain back in the fold, the band seems to have found a fragile peace. Their music still resonates with longtime fans and continues to find new audiences through streaming platforms and their ongoing tours. Whether you see them as musical geniuses or a case study in rock and roll dysfunction, one thing is undeniable. Few bands have created such an impressive musical legacy while simultaneously generating so much drama. The Smashing Pumpkins story is a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful art comes from the most troubled souls, and that behind every perfect melody might lie a perfectly messy human story.